There I am. Hello, everybody. It is Friday. Friday, I guess. I'm Brian. How's everybody doing? Welcome if you are on one of the triple casts that we're doing here. Oh, it says encoding overloaded. Ooh, okay. Huh. It's doing that even with the preview disabled. That's interesting. Um, yeah, been an interesting day here at my world headquarters. The internet was down for the first 5 hours of the day. So, like most things, I was uh, crippled in my car, being unable to do anything. Hey, Walt, how you doing? Hey, Lady P, glad you could join us here. Appreciate that. My car didn't explode. No, Lady P, god damn it. You're gonna. No, I actually had a technician come out yesterday and look at some of the recall stuff, the wiring harness in the back and whatever for the trunk. Oh, my encoder. Yeah, I don't know why it said that. Normally, if I turn the preview off, then it doesn't have four different places it's trying to encode to. So far it's been okay. I haven't heard anybody complain about the YouTube or the LinkedIn feeds, but then nobody may be looking at them. So, um, I mean, I have a nice fat video card, and it's using probably less than 5% of what it's supposed to. So, let me go see what the performance on my card is. Yeah, it's running at like 19-20%. So I'm not sure how the encoder's getting overloaded, but yeah, it is what it is. So I was saying I had a technician come out yesterday. His name is Seth. Good person. If you're in the Seattle area, maybe you ask for Seth if you have a Tesla that needs to be serviced. So he came out and he was like, "Hey, give me your key card and I'll make sure that I do everything I need to." And he checked the tires and everything. And my first thought was, he's a technician, so he's going to look at like the logs and stuff to see if there's anything wrong. And there might be some weird logs in the system that would show, hey, some weird shit's going on, because I had put the ECU in, as I mentioned on the Tuesday show. And it's like one of those things. You go to the dentist and they go, "Oh, have you been brushing?" And you're like, "Oh yeah, every 5 times a day or whatever." And then they look at your teeth and they're like, "Mm-hmm, yeah, you've been brushing maybe 5 times this year." And I was like, "Damn, okay." Stop lying to the dentist because they know. And so I was like, "Hey, don't know if you were looking at the logs or anything. I had upgraded my car to use the ECU version 4, instead of the 3 because I wanted to use CCS charging." I was, "Oh yeah, I didn't see that. It was a actually he was like, I you're the first person who's actually mentioned that to me," and I was like, "Oh, okay, not bad." Um, but the last thing I wanted was for anything to go wrong. So I told him, I was like, "Hey, hadn't had any issues, but I just wanted to, see if you had heard anything." And he's like, "No, you're the first person that's actually had any, mentioned it at all. I guess, you're not supposed to hack your car and put in an ECU or whatever." So, so yeah, it was interesting. He was a good person, and he was like, "Oh yeah, have you been on any of the forums talking, seeing how that works out?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, I was on a ton of them." And so he was like, "Yeah, I had told him about one of the issues I had up here, almost running out of battery power, but there wasn't a place for me to charge. And that's why I wanted to upgrade to the CCS related items." And he's like, "Yeah, I can understand that, especially if you're in the southern part of Seattle. There was no supercharger at the time." So it's just interesting. I guess I guess there's a lot of people that would withhold something like that from him. I just, you know, if he was troubleshooting an issue, I wanted to make sure that he knew that there was other stuff going on wrong in there. And, it's, it could have easily gone sideways and my car exploded, like Lady P said, or, some people said it was going to happen. But, yeah, so far it's going okay. So, um, so, yeah, we got some Golang, and we've got some discussion today. There is some information online from a post on Twitter. I know it's not drama. It's just I think that there's I think it's the problem that we've talked with folks about this in the past. We've had April Murdoch, we've had Nathan McNulty, Gerald Folkens on. We've had the K612 folks, the ISAC for education security folk. A lot of folks out there are trying to improve education security, EDU security in this case. Historically, academia is a soft point in security, and I don't know what that is. Lady P, I know how to hack things, okay? She says it's still early in the month. I know. I actually just charged up my car. See? Let me see. So anyway, there was a story somebody tweeted out actually. And I actually didn't see that tweet. I saw somebody said, "Hey, wow, people are dogpiling the shit on this guy," and I was like, "Oh, what's this about?" So, this person is a grad student or a PhD student at I believe University of Pennsylvania or Penn State. It said Penn, so I'm going to assume Penn State, not UPenn or anything like that. It does make a difference, I think. This person is doing some research, and from what I'd gathered from the short tweet that I'd gotten, he was needing to replace his laptop, his device, if you will, that presumably does his work on. And he was upset, or he was, tweet screaming that he was told by his TA or his teaching assistant, TA, yeah, that they would order him a new box, but it would be given to the Penn UPenn IT folks to put security software on there. Basically EDR, in this case, specifically CrowdStrike. And he didn't want any of that on there. And that's what I understood, that, he was like, I'm not putting what amounts to spyware on my machine. Now, yeah, there are a lot of tools, and I have said it myself, that offensive tools can be used by bad guys. Defensive tools can be used for bad guys. But there is it was just interesting to read some of the responses to his tweet about the need to have security tools on his laptop. And I actually got into it with a couple people, actually, because there were a couple of folks that were firmly in that guy's, like, yes, I completely agree. Academia doesn't need to have security. This is overstepping bounds. Penn should be, burned in effigy or whatever it is. And my question was, what are the university to do when, we've had multiple news stories in the past, I don't know, few years now, where ransomware and malware infections in the EDU space are a thing. And actually, just talking recently, let me blink. All right, so in just recently, CISA EDU sec. They are working the CISA or CISA. Let me see. There was a story about education security. I should have pulled this up. Yeah, so I think this is it here. And I'll make this a little bit bigger for everybody to see. There we go. So the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, CISA, released a report and a toolkit for K-12 institutions to help better protect themselves against cybersecurity threats. Now, this is specifically K-12, doesn't necessarily include universities. I would argue that universities are probably bigger targets than K through 12 because of simply the kind of research that they tend to do at these organizations. Um, the 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 security issues are in K through 12, the loss of kids' PII, health data, social security number that would allow the bad guys to use those to create to create fraud that won't be detected for years to come. You'll have kids with social security numbers that are tied to, breaches or what have you. But in after K through 12, then you have the college and the university section, which then you have student records and you've got transcripts and you've got other kinds of personal identifying information. But on top of that, you have things like people doing NSF grants for the National Science Foundation, or you've got, I don't know, if you went to Princeton, for instance, you might be working on a nuclear fusion project or something like that. I mean, there's research at these unis that need to be secure, needs to be safeguarded, would definitely be handy in the realm of, not just bad actors, but people seeking to do things like create patents or do IP on things. If they could borrow, somebody's research and recreate that outside of the university and make money on it, or, implement it in some way, that's a problem. But these folks were diligently not wanting to have security of any kind on any of the boxes that they had. The person in particular I was talking to and trying to debate had suggested that leave it up to the end user and their threat model to decide how to be secure. And that it sounds great. Sounds like that's something you could do if you wanted to do absolutely nothing. There are a lot of people that don't have the same threat model that I have. My daughter has a different threat model than I have. My wife has a different threat model than I have. Grad student that I was arguing, not grad student, actually, this person's in corporate life. I won't call him out specifically. This person's in corporate life. Obviously, he's a data scientist or something because that's on his bio there. But he was very unhappy with the fact that monitoring software was being put on somebody's computer. And I was like, considering where you work and what you do, and, the same endpoint security software is probably running on your work machine. And I was like, he said, it's different. It's corporate environment is different than academia, which I will grant you, yes, it is not the same as a cutthroat, Mango or a Fang, or, you're working at a consultancy or something. If you work for one of those big companies or you work for a company, you may have work related items on a personal laptop. Was this a TA on a university owned laptop or personally owned laptop? So Walt, the way I understood it, and so the person's handle, and I believe what happened was, as InfoSec does, they kind of dogpiled on him, including VX Underground, I believe. But the person is at Alpha Convert. That was the person who raised the initial stink in this case. And the way I understood it was bought by Penn, Penn's the university Penn, and it's pretty much their asset. But he did not want the software on there. So the person I was arguing with was, oh, they don't need to put that stuff on there. Everybody should just, handle their own security threats the way they see fit. And you can go and check out my last handful of tweets and stuff, and you can see the back and forth that I had with another person and the third person. But if we don't secure the endpoints, what are our options, right? We have to secure the network. And the person I was arguing against said, yeah, you can have an EDU Roam network, and then you could have a really super clean network and whatever. And it felt like he didn't understand how viruses work or how malware infections work. And we've seen numerous times, and the person AJ who also works for Ions, um, take it or leave it as what you will. I made the point, and he followed up by saying, hey, you're gonna take a nice, it's like if you took your work laptop. In this case, your work is your research, it's your PhD, it's your whatever, and you've got it on a laptop that you use for work or for your research work. I see no difference here in this case. Work is work. You don't put any kind of security software on it, and you're on the open EDM Roam network, and you download Apex Legends, or you're downloading some games, and people are you're using plugins on it or something, and you go to websites and you're installing applications. Maybe you've got Windows on there, or maybe you've got something that you didn't pay for necessarily, so you download it from a where site, or you're clicking on links on your personal email, and you opened up an invoice that looked like it was a real invoice, but it wasn't. Oh well, I'll just close this. And oh, here's my mother, she sent me a gift card for books. Oh, awesome. Wait a minute, she died 5 years ago. Oh, I'll just double click on this email or this PDF anyway. Oh yeah, that looks somewhat legit. Close that. You're completely infected and owned left, right, and center. There's probably a couple shells running on your shit right now. And then it's like, well, now I've got to go to work. I'm going to go connect to this nice, clean university network. And now everybody's owned. So what did Walt say? And everyone should do their own police, fire, electric, sewage, etc. Someone working for a university, working in or for a community, having some community standards is not a bad thing. You're absolutely correct, Walt. My comment to the gentleman in this thread was that we're not seeing any. I think what he is asking for in terms of, I don't want to put anything on my endpoint, that could be monitoring, or it could be, engaging in security, or what have you. I can get it. I completely understand if the software that he believes is going to be installed is going to hamper his research in some way. If it's a performant thing, like, oh, if I put CrowdStrike on there, it's going to cause this not to work right. That's fair. And maybe there was some context in the email chain or the Twitter chain that I couldn't see before he decided to take his entire account private. Hey, Triplexity, what's going on? How are you? You had me. Yeah, so oh, Triplexity, thank you so much for the bits. It's so helpful to have people enjoying our content. Yeah, happy Friday there, Triplexity. Appreciate that, and thank you for the bits. It's very much appreciated. So, oh yeah. Wait. I think we have some people. Kathleen, I'd like to thank Kathleen and the Wooden Indian following us there. So thank you very much. Thank you all so much for that. So, but yeah, I can't believe that it's 2023 and that we still have people, especially who work in academia, that are myopic in that way, or were in academia, now work for a really big ass corporation. And I won't, y'all can OSINT the shit out of that and figure out who I was talking to and talking about, because I asked the same question. I was like, how do you feel about doing that shit at work? And so I get it if the security tools actually cause a detriment to whatever the research is, but you have to prepare for those things, and you have to prepare for things like, I can't be on regular network. I can't, and I will say, full disclosure, I don't run antivirus. I don't run any EDR on my box here at home. I'm, if I took my work laptop, to be honest, is completely isolated from the rest of my network, only because it's my work, right? And I'm actually more worried about getting owned here or my family getting owned, because like most people, we have a flat network at home. I have a lab, I have a small lab network, but if something were to happen and I got, God forbid, ransomware or something like that here, it would spread to our entire network. My my work laptop is hopefully isolated enough that it can't access or see any other assets inside my network. But mine is such that I tend to stick to the same 10 to 15 websites, and I don't tend to go far afield on things. Um, most I wonder about people getting paranoid about the wrong things at times. I'm worried about item number 14 without doing numbers 1 through 13. Yep. Yep. Yeah, that's true. Triplexity stream's going well. We're triple casting on YouTube and LinkedIn. For some reason, everything is now working fine. The stars have aligned, and we're streaming on Facebook and or not Facebook, but LinkedIn and YouTube as well as Twitch. So that's pretty awesome. But yeah, so it's, this is an interesting press release from CISA. They're looking at bolstering the K-12 region. Um, I, I'm assuming that they're trying to work on this first because K through 12 is probably the most what do they call that? The most susceptible to this without people not even installing Gremlin. Yeah, you forgot talk. You forgot some kind of talk install. Yeah, um, they're the ones who are the most likely to not find out that they've got something wrong with them for years or what have you. So they're the most susceptible. They're the most vulnerable group. There you go. And some schools probably are, if they're privately owned, they're not beholden like the state systems to state requirements, so they're probably working with the K through 12 folks to kind of move in that direction. So but it would be nice to see universities adopt some kind of community standards like what Walt had suggested. um, and if there's legitimate need to not have that stuff on there, then you know that you have to prep. If it's just, hey, I don't want to put CrowdStrike on there, and I don't know why they didn't want CrowdStrike specifically, but somebody's basically all of InfoSec Twitter, I don't want to say descended upon these people, but there was enough people that this guy took his account private, so you can't view that anymore. My guess is that a lot of people said some things he didn't like, and it made him mad. So it is what it is. And I get it. A lot of InfoSec Twitter, a lot of InfoSec tend to prop up certain industries. MFA, uh, Okta. Well, that's MFA, but like MFA, password lockers, those kinds of things. So we tend to want to prop up things that we like using, and for good or ill. So that is my rant of the day. I feel like I need to have like a do rant of the day, and so some kind of thing there. But yeah, I included Sysogen in the tweet, and I was like, hey, here's your next hurdle, or here's how people feel about the academia of these things, because as we've talked to April Murdoch and Jared and Nathan, the the world is hostile in the K through 12 environment, and so you have to worry about those various things. So so I have a couple things I want to mention. So our friend Jen, who we're working on getting some issues. Where is that? She gave me a link for there it is. She's raising some money for a malaria fund, which is on Facebook. But you can donate to, yeah, that's it. Yeah. So you can go and learn a bit about, malaria, help out there. They're looking to raise some money for, malaria funding, and and helping those folks. And yeah, so we're working to get her on to talk about. Let me see, what was the? She put that down. Let me see, where is it? Talk about executive soft skills education, how it can help break silos and make sure what we're doing whatever our focused activity is for the business. So, um, her and about two other people will have kind of a panel discussion on here at some point, looking around March timeframe. But um, oh, hello, benevolent troublemaker. How you doing? That's Jen. Jen, everyone, Jen. Wanted to make sure that we got the word out about the donations and that. So, but yeah, we'll see about having Jen on and her team there to cohort to talk about breaking down silos and learning how to you know you know not think we have to resort to hand puppets to talk to management types. So I used to think firmly in the Sesame Street, talking with hand puppets and shit. So, um, okay, well, let me see. Did I have anything else? Oh, Malware Bytes has a pretty decent write up on an Android TV box that was shipped with adware. So it's kind of a walkthrough and write up on how Nathan Collier analyzed the malware, the tool sets, and the stuff used. It's good to see Fiddler being used. Oh, it's good to see Fiddler being used for interception proxy stuff instead of the typical burp. So that's kind of nice. Hadn't heard of these. Not Logcat. I've heard of Logcat, but not no root firewall is one of those. ADB, of course. But so yeah, it walks through how went about gaining access to all of the that. So it's a pretty good write up. And what's this one here? Oh, one of the things that they were talking about with NSF was I was trying to find out if NSF, National Science Foundation, had any kind of requirements for securing assets that ran research that they were paying for or what have you. So couldn't find anything, but just making sure. Oh, cool little story about creating electricity with paper like fabric. So if you ever wonder how people in the future on sci-fi movies are able to power things, that's how we're going to do it right there. Wearable technology for creating power. So, all right, let's, without further ado, and if anybody has any questions, comments, if I'm off my rocker about, securing things or not securing things in an environment, I would love to. What the hell is that? I don't know what that is. W3. I don't know what that is. Boy, talk about typing shit wrong, isn't it? Oh, multiple schools. What if I'm just off my rocker in general? I'll have to talk to my mother about that one. Oh, just for notification, I won't be here next Friday. Gonna be flying home. Gonna be attending a double memorial service for my grandmother and my uncle. Um, grandma grandma was living in 1975 the last few years of her life, so she didn't know I was alive. So for all intents and purposes, I've said goodbye a couple years ago. Did we authorize that vacation time? Well, we do have bereavement leave around here, so I did take some bereavement leave. Actually, my company does have that, so it was kind of a cool thing. I took that instead of taking some time off, which was helpful because we're going to need that time when we go to move in San Diego. But and then, of course, my uncle passed away after complications from cancer. He had stomach cancer about 4 years ago, and he actually lived longer than they expected him to. So he had some complications there and didn't make it out of hospital. So, but yeah, I mean, it's good people, and we're gonna get the family together, and hopefully it'll be somewhat nice in Missouri at that time of year, and put them in an urn and go on. So yeah. I've been living in 1975 since 1953. There could be worse times. 1975, I guess. Depending on where you lived, I would say. I would have to say. You watch a lot of TV shows from 1970s, and it's like everything's in Southern California. You're like, God, it must have been awesome to live in in LA in '75, or watch Wonder Woman or something, you see all those cool places in the 70s. So, but yeah, it must have been night. I was stuck, and I was born in '79 in middle of America. So, God's bless, what is going on? Can I not even Google today? I mean, I don't know. Let's go. Okay. All right. So, shrink this bad boy back up here. All right. So, y'all, except for the smog. Well, yeah, but I mean, everybody smoked, so you really couldn't tell any difference, right? I'm just kidding. I, you know, I, yeah, I don't know. I just think that was probably like the cool place. I mean, they were inventing things like surfing and skateboarding and shit, and I was like, that's got to be pretty awesome. What was that like? That kind of history at that time. So, I think we can probably move that over and make this a little bigger. There we go. All right, so I'm going to create a new one here. So we will new file, a Go file. Ah, damn yous. New file. Language, Go. All right. So we got down to, I think, slices the last time. There was a couple of things I think left that oh, you know what? You're right. There's a couple of things we had left to do the last time. So let me go and pull that back up. Open recent slices. There we go. All right, so we're modifying slices. We had created slices up until this point, and slices are, they're similar to arrays. You can store multiple values. We learned about that. You can assign values at the setup, or you can say, so you can set like a slice of 5, and then you can tell it, well, I only want the first and third values to have something in them. I don't want anything in the second, fourth, and fifth, kind of thing. Thick. You drive over the grapevine as you hit the summit. Sorry, Lady P. I lived in San Diego. For about a decade. I was reading your stuff as the Californians. The grapevine and the summit. I was okay, and the Californians was pretty funny. I'm gonna go pull that up. I'm not gonna watch the video, but Californians. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, it makes me laugh because that every damn time. So I won't watch it right now, but yeah. Oh, oh. It's not a dig on you, Lady P. It's just when I hear when I'm telling people up here, I tell them, oh yeah, we went down the 5, we went down the 90. They're like, oh, you've lived in Southern California, because I use which is funny because when I'm in San Diego, I say the 5, the 8, the 405, or the 805, and it's like N163. I don't use the at the end, so I got stuck on the 10. Yeah, exactly. You got stuck on the 10. Yeah. But yeah, it's pretty funny. If you've lived in Southern California, that will echo with you there a little bit. So let me scoot that over. All right, so slices are similar to arrays. You can add specific data types. You can declare what kinds of data types they are. So in this case, you can use your walrus to say these are all integers. You can actually not declare what kind of type it is, and it will figure them out for you. 80 to 84. And you can, create various slices based on those things. And you can do things like the length of the slice. You can also do the length of the array. You can also, let me see, the cap. The cap here returns the capacity of the slice. So how many slices you can fit in, so right now we'll say 4 if you're looking at the output here. So it'll look for 4 That's how many values were in there, and that's how big the slice can be. And then you just print out the slices and say go slices are powerful. You can create a slice from an array by suggesting which parts of the array you want. So if you have an array with 5 values in there, you could say, well, I want 1 and 2, or 3 and 4, or you can say I want 1, 2, and 5, and you can pull those out. I'm unsure as to why you would want to use an array and a slice. I'm not. If there was some kind of performant thing where a slice was faster, I could see that. Or maybe you're just wanting to take a subsection of those and compare them later on down in the area. But yeah, so like with this one, I think I screwed it up when I was originally discussing it, and then I came back and was like, that's why that is. So when you say you want your array be, let's see, there you go, the start and the end of the array. So you can say your array 2 and 4 in this case is the value that it starts at and the value that it ends at. So in this case, it starts at 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's why they did it that way. So 2 would be 2, and you want it to go to the 4th one in the list, which is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, which is this one here. And then it's always, so when it says 4, it'll go to the 4th one, but it won't include the 4th one. It includes everything before that. So it's like not less than or equal to or some shit like that. So it starts with the second value, in this case, which is that one, but it's less than the 4th one. So that's why you only see these 2 values here instead of including the 14 in the list. So if you wanted to include the 14, you would put 2, 5, and then it would go all the way out to this and then minus those. So when I initially explained it last time, I think I corrected myself afterwards, but I realized I'd pooched it at that point. So yeah, there's various different things here. The make function used to create a slice. If you don't want to use arrays, you can use slices without arrays. So there's some information there. So we went through the modification of a slice. Let me see how far down we got on this. Omitted capacity. Okay. So now we're back where we should be. Fly over the valley. The sky was a sick yellow-brown. Yep. So this example shows how to access the first and third elements in the prices slice. So we're going to... oh, yeah. See, so at the end of the session, I put this is where we ended at slices modify. So I can remove that. And that's just I could actually just leave that in there, as a matter of fact. Well, I actually can't because I need the main on that. So we're gonna drop that down a little bit. So we have package main, import FMT, function main, and then there's where we're starting our function. And we want to go to prices. This may already be, let's double check and make sure that it's not mentioned above here. Make, int, make. Just want to make sure that I'm not calling out something that's already, oh, wait. I'll call this prices 2 because I already have a function there. Oh, no, okay. I see what happened. Okay, so I wrote out the array or the slice, but I hadn't continued going through. All right, so we'll save that, and we will run slices go. CD slices, and then you'll see down here on the bottom where 10 and 30. So 10 and 30 is what we were looking for the output on that. So you can call an element in a slice like you do an array. These are indexes, or these would be the various sections. So 0 is 10, the 2 is 30, the 1 would have been 20, obviously. And if you tried to put something that was outside that, you would get an error message. Changing the elements of a slice. Now that you can change the elements, but you can't change from, like, you can't put a word or something inside if it's been if it's been evaluated as having only integers inside of it. So Once you declare the type of array or slice it is, you can't change it in the middle. So we're going to change the array slices. So we'll call this prices 2 because I already have a prices up top and I don't want to mess anything up here. All right, so prices. All right, so I'm just going to copy paste this for brevity's sake because I did get some feedback that, brah, when are you going to start doing the cool stuff? So I get it. You're going to have to bear with me and be patient. There are some people that are probably watching this going, holy shit, Golang can do this. I've never done this before myself. I appreciate the patience that you have, but you're not just going to learn to be a programmer overnight. And it's going to take a few overnights for me to become a programmer. So just want to let everybody know and keep that in mind and to be patient. If you think we should do this more often, I'm more than welcome to give that a shot. So, but yeah, just wanted to set expectations. According to most people, it's like 10,000 hours to learn how to do something. I mean, there's a movie, Groundhog Day. He apparently spent several thousand iterations of Groundhog Day learning how to do all of the things that he learned how to do. So, all right, so we have prices 2 equals 50. So what we're doing is we're going to replace this number 2 value, which is 0, 1, 2. So we're going to replace 30 with 50 if everything is working correctly. Kind of like we did with the arrays earlier. It's like we were replacing a value in the array. We're replacing a value in a slice with something else. So, the initial slice is 10, 20, 30. We're going to change it to 50. And then when we print 0 and 2, it should be 10 and 50 in this case instead of 10 and 20. Matter of fact, I'm so confident in my typing because I am my own Stack Overflow. That should just be good enough to work. But we need to change this to prices 2 there. See, this would have been an error message because I pooched it right there. So everything needs to match up for the next example. So Control C or Control S to save. And then I should be able to just run it. And what should happen is 10 and 50 pops up. So there you go. There's your 10 and 50. So it's easy to change the indexes inside, or the elements in this case, for arrays or slices. It's very much the same way, which is great. You're not trying to do something different for one thing or another. What W3 Schools hasn't been able, or hasn't told me yet, is why it just says they're more powerful and flexible. I don't know why. So there's probably some real reason out there for it. We can go poke around and look at it. It says, well, okay, so the one thing they did tell us was that you can grow and shrink the slices as you see fit. At some point, we will do that. So arrays are static, slices grow and change as you need to. All right, so that was 10 and 50, appending items to a slice. You can append elements to the end of a slice using the append function. Okay, so this is where the slices is different than the arrays. There's a specific function called append, which will take almost like a text file or something in Linux. When you output a file, or you say, echo test single quote, and then you go to text.text or whatever that. So when you do these 2 arrows, it will append to text.text if there's already content in there. Otherwise, this clobbers everything that's inside the text file. But this will just add it to the end of the file and then put the EOF on there. So and the idea is that you can append. You might append a log file, or you might append this. In this case, you're going through your script and you're like, oh crap, I need to add an additional element to my slice or my array. Well, I can't do that because it's an array. So the slices, you would want to convert things to slices, and then you can use the append function to move things over. So what we have here is we have a small script. You have your package.main or package main, your import FMT, which is your Go linter or your style guide. The FMT formats things properly. Function main, which we have up here. So everything is in here in the case up through line 7. And we will continue on down. So my slice 1. I feel like we already have a my slice 1. Let me see. Yeah, here's a my slice 2, my slice 1. Oh, so we have a my slice here. Okay, so I didn't get creative with that. So my slice 4. All right, so we'll do a my slice, well, 5 in this case. And we'll do a walrus. So that evaluates. So instead of putting var in front of it, it's automatically going to evaluate what's going on based on the data that it's given in this case. So that int. So we're declaring that is an integer. All right. Move some mouses and some keyboards and stuff. There we go. All right, so int, and then we said 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There we go. All right, and we close that. All right, and then we're gonna do FMT, printf. By the way, it was nice seeing Matt the Planet and Digital Warhead at InfoSec Campout, Walt. Good seeing, I think, Vincent and a couple of other folks, a couple new folks we hadn't had before too. So it was nice to see. Nice slice 5 equals percent %v/n. I think we talked a little bit about those before. My slice 5. Interesting. So you can actually tell it to use specific ones. Okay. FMT printf length. And then %d. And that's a new line. Len, my slice 5. FMT print f capacity equals %d /n. There we go. Cap, and then my slice 5. So I'm going to be taking off here about 40 minutes from now. My wife wants to go have dinner, so it's been a long week. So we'll just to give you an idea on that. All right, and so my slice 1. All right, so what we're doing is we're taking the existing slice, my slice 5 in this case, these here, and then this next bit is we're going to append 2 additional values to the end of the slice. So if we do this correctly and we run it, it should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 20, 21. So, oh yeah, this should be my slice 5. And we're going to go equal, because you've already walrused up my slice 5 as a variable. You've called it an integer, so it's an integer variable, and it's a slice, and it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in it. Lady P, you're taking off early right before you go on vacation. Maybe I'll put in a Thursday stream or something like that. It's not vacation to go to a memorial service. Even if I, my hard and fast rule is if you go to see family, that's not a vacation either. So the next vacation that I'll be doing will be when we go in April 10th through the 15th to DC, a 9X streamer. Yeah. Yeah. The yeah. Funny thing is, up until about age 41, I think the last time I went to see family was another funeral. So it's fun. I only go back to Missouri for funerals now. So Yeah, it was November 2019. I think just before the pandemic. I buried my grandfather, so or we put him in an urn too. But yeah, it was the same thing. Um, FMT printf. All right, so to save time, and I will forego, and I'll just copy the format files again here. Everything is still the same. My slice 5, my slice 5, cap, len, length, capacity, printf. Make sure I've got my quotes in the right place. Got my back ticks or my backslashes for my ends for my new lines. So what's going to happen is it will run this at the bottom, and we'll get my slice 5 is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then we'll get the length is 6. The capacity is 6. And then once we do the slices and append 20 and 21, it will print 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 20, 21. Length should then be 8 in this case because I've added 2 more values. The capacity should be 8. I believe that's how it's going to work. And if you think, oh, you've scanned ahead to make sure that this is actually correct, no. Oh, what did I do there? Oh, okay. What is going on? All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Capacity is see, that's what you get for copying and pasting, kids. Yeah. Okay. So well, at least I was at least I was consistent. At least I was consistent there. That might say more about Missouri than family. Yeah, that's true. I think my mother's given up on me moving back to Missouri because I kind of told her there ain't shit there. So I do apologize to anybody from Missouri who's watching this. I lived in Southwest Missouri. I lived in South Central Missouri where it was. I didn't walk away from Missouri. I ran the fuck out of there. So that's what that is. All right. So I made a mistake. I know what that mistake was. Under capacity, I put a dollar sign instead of a. Yeah, it's all right. There's just I was I think I've mentioned this before on more than one episode, but it was like the minute I got stationed in Monterey, California, it was like I was home, right? That's I felt like I was at home in Monterey. And what? Okay, so okay, this is interesting because I did not expect. Is that the okay? That's the expected output, but why is it 12? Huh. Okay, so well, I mean everything else is correct except for this one at the bottom here. Capacity is 12. Why is that? Oh, you know what? Let me see. Double check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm I don't know why that is. I was thinking maybe, but well, I've got two more. I've got 2 values here and 2 values here, so that would be why in terms of size. Why is the capacity 12? Huh. I do not know. Hmm. And the problem is I have no explanation of why that's a 12. I hmm. Did it Let me double check here. Did I put something in? No, obviously I didn't because the output is correct according to them. According to them. Now, is there any more discussion over here of why that is? It's 12. Run. Okay. Sorry, I just um February 16th. Okay. let's see, cap. No, there's no explanation of why that is. If anyone has an idea on why 12 is now the capacity of this particular slice, I would love to hear why. Because I mean, if you're just adding up the number of numbers in it, I mean, length is 8, and that makes sense because that's how many values are in there. But I don't understand why the 12 is showing up. So if you have any thoughts on that or why that is, I would love to hear it. So I'm going to continue on, and I think Go doubles the size of the underlying array when you add more values. Really? Huh. Because this is so Walt, I'm not trying to be pedantic here, but I've used that word a lot this week. It's a slice, not an array. I mean, what slice is an array that is flexible. It's elastic. It grows or shrinks or what have you. Why would it double the size of the array when you add more value? Yeah. Yeah. Golang slices. Now we've jinkies, kids. We got a mystery on our hands. Go by example. Let's go see if it tells us anything here. Unlike arrays, slices are typed only by the elements they contain, not the number of elements. Oh, so I could put whatever I want inside a slice. So there's room for a few more items. All right, well, okay, so by that logic, Walt, I should be able to not append anything else. I should be able to append other items in this, right? No, wait, that's not what I'm looking for. If I put 7 up here and run this again, it would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 20, 21. What you're saying is the capacity should still be 12 at that point. Oh, there we go. I don't think so. I think, yeah, see, now it says 14. That's really weird. Okay, so let me see if I've got an example here where it says that. To be fair, the capacity and the length thing is, I'm not sure how people would care or not, but it seems like if you weren't aware that this was a thing, like the capacity changes like this, it might actually cause you some issues. Slices can be composed into multi-dimensional data structures. The length of the inner slices can vary, unlike with multi-dimensional arrays. Okay. Len returns the length of the slices expected in addition to these basic operate. So let me see. Capacity in slices Golang. Capacity of slice is the number of elements in the underlying array, counting from the first element in the slice. The length and capacity of a slice can be obtained using the expression lens and caps. You can extend a slice's length by reslicing it, provided it has sufficient capacity. Okay, that's great, but still doesn't tell me why that is. You can slice the slice to give it 0 length. Okay, so you're basically zeroing out the slice at that point. You extended its length by giving it 4. You can drop its first 2 values. Yeah, I'd love to know that. I don't doubt Walt and Lady P that there must be a reason for that. I don't know what to search for right now. It's kind of eluding me as to what we would need to search for that. So, matter of fact, you know what? Let me. Oh yeah. I'm gonna take a note. Go look this up later when I've become sufficiently numb and can go look that up with an adult beverage or two. Slice example W3 schools. And why do slices cap not match the number of elements? There we go. All righty. And that's what you get for having a stainless steel pen, huh? Oh, it's not my bullet one. It's not my rifle one, that's why. All right, so we're going to go change the length of a slice. Unlike arrays, it's possible to change the length of a slice. And this example shows how to change the length of a slice. Whoa, but we're getting a hot mess up in here. All right, so all right. So R1 walrus 6 int 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. You know what? I want to do one other thing because something just came up. What if I was to put 8 and 9 here? Technically, I could put 8 and 8 because it takes any values whatsoever. So I could just make these 8 and 8. But if I did that, does it change the number? Because if that's the case, then what Lady P said is correct. It might be horribly inefficient. Nope, still 12. Okay, all right, that's fine. I just wanted to make sure that we tested everything. Somebody might have been yelling in the ether, why didn't you test it with 1-digit values or something like that? So just wanted to make sure that we at least covered that that section there. So all right, so we're going to create an array. I already typed that and then untyped it, so I'm just going to go ahead and make that there. All right, so my slice 6 walrus. It was windy outside. I'm actually surprised we haven't lost power yet. Okay, haven't lost power yet. Slices are arrays. Under the covers, if an array gets full, Go will create a new array with a larger size. So it adds a few extra to the end. So you do multiple appends to the slice. It reduces the number of recreations required. So, well, what if I'm looking for some kind of conditional statement where it's like when the capacity hits 10? Will it be 10 if I only bumped it up one more value? Like if I made it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, it would have been the capacity 10? Because it seems like now I could understand it maybe, Walt, if the capacity is 12 because we've overflowed a specific memory register and now we're in like an additional register underneath. So it's like the maximum you can have is 6 in this memory register. And then it's like, oh, well, the next version, you've got 2 versions. So now you've got to use like 12. So I did notice that you have 6 here and you have 12 here because we did add those 2 new values. So that's kind of what I'm thinking about right now is like 6 is the maximum that will fit in a register of sorts or a buffer. So 6 is the full buffer. And then once you've added 7, it's going to add 12 anyway. Maybe that is the answer. I mean, that seems like the simplest. I don't know, but it's that now that you were talking about that when the array gets full, I'm thinking memory registers at this point. So, and it allocates that entire register to protect against things like buffer overflows or memory overflows. I don't know. I'm hoping we don't have another R1 up in here. We actually do. Oh, this is the previous example? Maybe. Some point I'm going to realize it. Part of 2014-2020, the implemented rule was if appending to the slice will increase its length by more than double, the new capacity is set to the new length. Otherwise, double the capacity if the current length is less than 1024 or by what? Or by 25% if it is larger. Repeat this step until the new capacity fits the desired length. Holy shit. That sounds complicated, man. I'm going to take your word for it. If so Walt, if you got that from somewhere, cite your put a URL to that in there if you can, please. That way we can all review it later at our leisure. All right, so R2, and then 1, 5. And this is the slice array. Excellent. Thank you so much. Okay. Yeah, see, in my case, it wasn't necessarily doubled. It was just, I only added 2 more. I didn't add like 3 to 6 more. So I don't know. I'll definitely take a look at that, but I do appreciate the link there and the comment. Hopefully smarter people than myself understand all of that, because sounds like there's a lot of complication. So slice 5 R2 slice array, and then just go ahead and do the prints. So slice 6, not 16. I think the next iteration of this, once I finish with this section, I'll start a new one. That way I can not do that. That's not what I want to do. There we go. Scroll back down here. 6. Okay. Capacity length, my slice 6. Yeah. Okay. And then my slice is R1 through 3. Change the length by reslicing the array. My slice 6. R2. 1, 3. The Go team changes the implementation as required depending on what current research shows. Okay. I'm not sure I like the volatility of that, Walt. Of course, I'm reminded by the fact that I think, some of the stuff that's been trying to be implemented in C has been, languishing for about 25 years now. So maybe it is better that you have people that are doing stuff not by committee or by, input and just, making it happen. So there's something to be said for action versus just, inaction. All right. Yeah, me neither. Something that runs today runs something entirely different. Yeah, I'm worried about that because you could definitely run into almost like a Java kind of thing where it's like, oh, I can't run this and go 1.27 because they made a change in 1.26 that pooches things, and it's like, well, okay, what am I gonna do now? Ideally, what you would they must have some kind of requirement so that their changes don't break backward compatibility or the like. I would hope that that's part of the. I would hope that that is an undocumented implementation detail. Christ, capacity is an undocumented implementation detail. I guess it would make sense to know why you would need to know the capacity of that. Other than a diagnostic thing to make sure, because in in a slice, they can it's elastic, right? So you can make it whatever you want, right? Um, that well, like you said, that's great. They don't break compatibility. They would definitely have to check that before they just pushed out a new version of this. And yeah, it makes sense, and I'm sure there's reason behind it. For whatever reason. My slice 6 equals append. So we're going to append it now. My slice 6, 20, 21, 22, 23. Then change length by appending items. Okay, just want to make sure I got all my spots in there. And then gonna copy the format commands. My slice 6. Oh, just to put it out there for those of you CONUS, United States, or wanting to come to San Diego in April. No, B-Sides is April 20th. B-Sides Seattle is April 20th. I want to say the B-Side San Diego is going to be in like March or something. So, but yeah, B-Side Seattle is doing call for papers. So if anybody wants to come and speak at B-Side Seattle, you can do so. We'll grab that. I think it's B-Sides Seattle.com. Fairly certain that that's correct. So, you know, if you're interested in coming and speaking, I can't guarantee I'm going to be there. Not that you would come just to see me. But it, yeah, I'm trying to clear that with the boss. We're supposed to have a garage sale that day, get rid of some shit before we leave. But, all right, my slice, 21, 22, 23. My slice 6, my slice 6. Everything's my slice 6, right? Yes. Okay. All right, Control C. All right, so there's all of what came up. Digital Warhead. How are you? Thank you so much, sir. Appreciate your patronage for 11 months in a row. We're getting into I want to say today or yesterday was our 1-year anniversary. We did Sunflower Con, I think on February 5th. I could be wrong. I'll have to go check that out. But that was like our first stream that I would consider legit. I think the first stream I ever did, I was like, oh, this is why we're doing stuff. I don't want to even go back and watch that one because I would just be like, man, I was like wigging out and I was really worried and nervous and shit. And it was like, oh. So yeah. All right. So what we got, the output for that, we got starting here. So we have 10, 11, 12, 13, 4 and 5, 10, 11, 2 and 5 for the capacity. So, all right. So the original slice was 10, 11, 12, 13. The capacity was 5. Okay. So we added 2 more. We added 10 and 11, which is, oh no, we sliced 10 and 11, which was 1 and 3. So that makes sense. We're changing the length by reslicing the array. That took 2 of them out. So the only values left in there are 12 and 13. We're learning some Golang there, Digital Warhead. I also talked a little bit about an online debate that we had earlier. But yeah, we're doing our Friday Golang tutorial stuff. Feel free to join in on the fun. So we sliced up the array by getting rid of 2 values. So the starting point is 1, the ending point is 3, but not including the third value, which is why you're seeing 10, 11, and 12. So that's why you're seeing the wait a minute. Okay, so 9 is gone. And all right, so we slice those off, and my slice 1, 10, 11, 2, and the capacity is 5. So there's, okay. That all right, that makes sense. We appended them to a different 4 down here. So we have 10 and 11, 20, 21, 22, and 23. The length is 10, the capacity is 10 because we've Yeah, Walt, I mean now we have 6 values, but the capacity is 10. And when we were up here at the top, when we have 6 values, the value is 6. Yeah, I don't understand that at all. I think there's actually a forum for W3 schools, so I may end up going in there and poking around and saying, "Hey, WTF? Why is this the way it is?" So we'll see what happens. Memory efficiency. Well, here's something we're going to be talking about. Lady P, you were talking about something's not memory efficient, so there you go. Maybe we'll get an answer as we go down here. It says when using slices, Go loads all the underlying elements into memory. If the array is large and you need only a few elements, it's better to copy those elements using the copy function. Copy function creates a new underlying array with only the required elements for the slice. This will reduce the memory used for the function for the program. So you have the source and the destination, or the destination source, destination then source, which is kind of interesting. It's kind of in reverse. You would think, I'm copying from this place to this place, but you're copying from this location. Yeah, so to this location from this location. So the copy function takes 2 slices of destination and source, copies the data from source to destination. Shouldn't confuse me like that. It returns the number of elements copied. For example, so what we have here, I'm just going to go through this one because this is the last example here. So we have function main, we have the numbers in a walrus. This is an array. No, it's a slice. Okay, it's a slice. 1 through 15. It's an integer. So printf, we're going to print all the numbers. We're going to print the length and capacity, whatever. We're going to get a number here at some point. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and copy this because I'd like to see what it tells me when it does 1 through 15. All right, so we have numbers. Make sure we don't have any numbers above here. Okay, good. We have numbers 1 through 15, numbers. Okay. Oh. Okay, and then, all right, so what we got here is numbers 1 through 15 with 15 value. I think this is probably why I could not be a programmer, because I don't have the mentality to embrace illogical process here. Or I'm making it because it makes sense to me. So here's a capacity of 15. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have 15 values here. We have, see, 5. We have 15 values. The capacity is 15. The length is 15. Yeah, I'm not quite sure I understand that. So so we want to create copy with only needed numbers. So needed numbers is a variable that's going to be created with the walrus. Numbers with a length of numbers minus 10. Okay. So let's I can type that one up fast enough. numbers, length, numbers minus 10. I'm assuming there's some order of operations here, so we'll pull the 10 down. Numbers, copy, another walrus, make, int, and then copy, numbers copy to needed numbers. All right. And then what we'll do is we'll just copy paste the format bits here. I think so, Digital Warhead. I think they said April 20th is going to be the only day for it. I think they tried a 2-day last year, and they were unable to fill the second day, which is why they moved it, I think, to just a 1-day event. Last year was the first day I think they'd been back since the pandemic. So yeah, or I'm sorry, May 20th, not April. Did I say April 20th? I meant May 20th. May 20th, because I think it's the same weekend and as NOLACon, which is in New Orleans. So you either go to NOLACon for 2 days plus 2 days of training, or you go to B-side Seattle if you can't fly down there. All right, so I'm gonna finish this up. Yeah, yeah, yes, it is there, Digital Warhead. Yeah. All right, so if we do this right, this will be what comes up. Original slice numbers 1 through 5 numbers. All right, so there it is. Original slice didn't pop up, so we're just going from this point down. So 1 to 15. Length is 15, capacity is 15, right? Numbers copy 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Length 5, capacity 5. All that matches logically. Yeah. Besides. God. Yeah, there it is. So yeah, May 20th. 8:30 to 6. I think they have 2 or 3 tracks. So, but yeah, it's at Building 92, which is Microsoft campus. It's actually a pretty nice venue for that. It's the Visitor Center, I believe, on the Microsoft Redmond campus next to the Commons. So, for those of you who don't know what that is, apologies. Microsoft has a huge ass campus on Redmond. The Commons is usually where the Microsoft employees go to eat, and there's a bunch of stuff there. Huge underground parking garage, huge, including EV chargers. So, but yeah, if you're interested in presenting, they have their CFP open, and it's a lovely venue. It's definitely a lovely venue. All right. The capacity of the new slice is now less than the capacity of the original slice because the new underlying array is smaller. Okay, so so make numbers copy, make int length needed numbers. So the needed numbers was minus 10. So we've basically sliced off the last 10 numbers, which is why we got that. Is it, Walt, the largest underground parking garage in the US? Really? Are you sure? Not like Mall of America or anything like that? Huh. I was unaware of that, so that's kind of cool if that's true. So yeah, there's that. Are we gonna go to operators next? Yeah, okay. So that is a method by which Apple Park has a giant underground parking garage too. Everything larger is above ground. Okay. Okay. So yeah, that is the way to manipulate slices, either by slicing off numbers, creating numbers, copying and moving data around and moving them into clusters. We'd have to talk to some Go developers to find out how often they actually use this. This feels a lot like, oh, this is stuff that you need to learn, but you're never going to use it, like like most of school. So um, I'm going to get ready to go. So I appreciate everybody for coming and hanging out. Walt, Digital Warhead, Lady P. Let's go see if there's anybody we can raid with our group of people real quick. If anything, we'll hit hackerspace or maker deck again. But let me see. Triplexity, thank you for coming and hanging out as well. Chill Hop, maker deck, 6-7 music. Oh, so 2OC stream. Rando was on earlier. Tiberius is on. We can always go raid Tiberius. Raid OX. Yeah, Tiberius is streaming. So yeah, let's raid Tiberius. Good idea, Digital. So everyone have a good weekend. I'm gonna see if Miss Berlin and Mr. Betcher want to get on this weekend. Otherwise, we're gonna post part 1 probably of John and Jared's interview that we did on the audio podcast. But yeah, hope everyone has a good rest of their day and weekend, and be safe and take care of yourselves. And we'll talk soon. Bye, y'all. I'm chatting. We're ready to be. We're gonna go raid Tiberius now. Yeah. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now.